with the world in a turmoil, a lot of industries are obviously suffering. Automotive industry is one of them. But the question is, what's going to happen after we get through this? Because we will get through this. I had Sandy Monroe on yesterday and the day before, and his opinion was that factories will have to struggle to come back on, and of course the second and third tier suppliers could be a problem. However, he did mention that Tesla might have an easier time coming back online. Here in Fremont, California, they've already restarted their factory in Shanghai, China. As a matter of fact, looks like there's a report today that they're producing anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 Model 3s there per week. So the rate is very, very good. Today I'm going to have Tom Moloughney, our weekly contributor and the contributor to InsideEVs on, and we're going to talk about, well, once Tesla comes back online and continues making the cars they're making, will they have to change their plans because of so many different things? And one of the plans they might have to change is to push the production and the release of the Cybertruck. I think it will make sense. So we're going to have Tom join us in just 1 second. By the way, thank you to Tom and pretty much all of my contributors that continued to contribute to this channel throughout this difficult times, and I'm really proud of having all of them on, and I think they're contributing so much value to you guys, my audience. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and if you have, don't forget to click on the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so now I was at the Cybertruck unveiling, and obviously at first it didn't go well, right? But nobody really remembers that moment anymore, right? Nobody really remembers the broken window. Now it's kind of a part of the meme universe rather than anything else. What we do remember is that, with every day, it grew on people, and it grew on people, it became a huge success. And now Elon announced that they're looking to build a separate factory here in the United States to produce this truck at. So now we at least know the plan where they're going to be producing the truck. But is this going to be able, are they going to be able to keep up with their plans? They have changed things around. Now they're going to be producing the tri-motor version first, and that's not a cheap version. So the question is, will there be people buying it in another couple of years? We'll be out of the recession, and will Tesla be able to keep up with where they need to go to get to it, because there's less than 2 years left, at least according to their plan. All right, before I bring in Tom to talk about this, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe next year. Absolutely free to make a reservation, so do so. There's a link in the description of this video. And also the EVANext aftermarket accessories for Tesla. Use E4Electric as the discount code for all purchases over $100, or also use the link below to get the same result. All right, without further ado, let me bring in Tom. Tom, how you doing? And let's talk about Tesla and Cybertruck after this whole global crisis.
Hey, Alex, how you holding out there?
Working from home as I've been for the last couple of years. So,
Yeah. So I was one of the people when the Cybertruck first came out. If you remember, I wasn't at the unveiling because I was over in China at the time. I was there with Neo, and so I was watching it live streaming, and I was one of those people that kind of just was like, and then I was like, and then I was like, I want one, click on my computer and ordering it. So I have a Cybertruck reservation, and I went through all the different phases of like, what is that? And are you crazy? And then, not bad. So yeah, that's up on the screen. That's my my Tesla screenshot. You see my Model 3 on the top, and Cybertruck order I have in. But yeah, so I'm anxiously awaiting Cybertruck. It'll replace, I have a Toyota Tacoma. I use it to plow some commercial property that I have, and my own driveway. So hopefully there'll be a plow set up for the Cybertruck. I'm sure there will be. So I'm waiting on one also, and I don't want it to be delayed. But I have to tell you, with everything that's going on now in the world, I don't see how it won't be delayed, unfortunately. I don't think many of us really understand what the implications of this kind of global shutdown is going to be long term. I think this is going to really disrupt supply chains across the world. Tesla is still scouting for a location for the factory. If they do have that location decided, they haven't announced it yet, so they don't even have a a factory location set. Um, then they have to build it out, and now we're going back to the supply chains. The steel and whatever they need to get to build this. All of that supplies are going to be backed up. Don't forget they're going to have contracts from that contract that suppliers had signed before this whole thing started that got halted. They'd have to come back online and fulfill those kinds. So everything is just going to get pushed back. And I did watch the video that you had with Sandy Monroe yesterday, and he made some really good points about how Tesla is a little bit more or a lot more vertically integrated than most manufacturers. So they might be able to come out of this a little bit better. But then you remember he also talked about, and you brought up the point that you're only as fast as your slowest supplier. So while they do supply more of their products than some of the other companies, more of their parts, there's less of a chance that they'll get held up. They still have quite a few suppliers, and it only takes one screw, one knob, one little piece of a vehicle to hold the entire vehicle back. So, I think we're going to see that in all of Tesla production. As far as the Cybertruck, I'm sure they don't have enough. All their engineers aren't working on engineering it now. I'm sure some of them are working from home. It's not the same as going to work. We talked about the site plan, about establishing a site, permitting it, building out a factory. Late 2021, don't believe that's going to happen. I will be shocked. I mean, I'm sure we'll be doing these weekly videos by then. So hopefully I'll be proven wrong, but I can't imagine Cybertruck beginning production until early 2022, and that's a shame because a lot of people are going to be looking forward to it.
So let me kind of break this down into a couple of categories. First, let's start with why Tesla would be delayed on their part, right? Obviously they need to build a factory. Now, why do you think that would be delayed? Let's assume we're going to get into a recession, at least temporary, just because of what's happening right now. Wouldn't it be easier for them to build a factory? Because during the recession, if you have money to spend, which they do, you should be able to get more people working faster, cheaper materials, and so forth. So wouldn't it actually be easier for them and faster to build a factory? Or do you think that the supply of the either workforce or the materials, kind of slowing down because of the recession will slow down the development of the site?
So first of all, there's no shortage. There was no shortage of workers before. Yes, there'll be plenty of them available to work now, but it wasn't like, he was going to have a hard time finding electricians and masons to build the factory before. So that's a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. You might get less expensive labor. I don't know, but that's not an issue. The whole search for the property, the permitting, that's all kind of been, put on hold now. And sure, if we all go back to work in a week or two, it will be a minimum impact. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're looking at a good solid month to the month and a half at best before we start returning to normal here in the U.S. And that'll be 2 to 3 full months of Tesla basically losing their progress that they made that they were beginning to make, hopefully, on site location and so forth and so on. You don't get that back. And we're at 21 months now till the end of 2021 when the Cybertruck is supposed to launch. So it'll be 20 months and another month. Soon it'll be 18. The timeline just isn't there. This isn't China. He's not going to build a factory in 9 months like they did in Shanghai in the US, even if regulations and permitting is stripped down. And who knows, coming out of this, we might be able to fast track permits to try to stimulate the economy. That's all remains to be seen. But there's just a certain amount of work that it takes to get this vehicle from paper to actually rolling off the assembly line. And this pause that we're taking now is taking time away from that. It was already a tremendously aggressive timeline and he's not getting back. Tesla's not getting back this time. So, I don't see how we don't have a delay in Cybertruck.
Am I understanding you correctly? So let's say if we're all in the lockdown for 2 months, right? So let's say the factory reopens in 2 months. Do you think that's what delay is going to be? Or do you think there will be 2 months plus ramping things up, replacing the suppliers, especially second and third tier suppliers that might have gone out of business,
Yeah.
looking for the site, and maybe even the government that will, the permitting offices and will have to be cut down on. Do you think it will be 2 months, or do you think it might be 3, 4, 5 months delay because of this?
I wish I had a crystal ball, but if you're asking me what I think it'll be more. I don't see how there's not going to be more of a ripple effect, like you talked about. Suppliers are going to go out of business. Companies are going to go out of business globally over this. Hopefully not many of them. One of the things I think that we're going to see out of this is that companies are going to start to really consider supply chain resiliency more than what they have before. I think that we're going to see companies, and this is maybe getting a little outside of Tesla and Cybertruck, but it's pertinent to this because this is the topic we're talking about. I think we're going to see a lot of companies decoupling from established supply chains, particularly from China, and trying to establish more suppliers that are, say, closer to home. We might see, say, Mexico start to get some more contracts, some more suppliers locating there. Even if the product costs a little bit more, they might look at that and say, you know what, I feel a little bit more certain about the supply chain resiliency if we have a little bit more control over it. Because I know this has definitely scared a lot of big business with the supply. China seems to have been able to get this under control rather quickly, to their credit. It looks like they took some pretty draconian measures to get it done. I never saw videos of people like literally locked in their apartments, but it worked. And it seemed to have really stomped out the spread of the COVID-19. We could never take measures like that here in Europe, but hopefully,
Did you just say here in Europe?
Here or in Europe.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was like, wait, where are you, Tom? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So I think that's something that's going to come out of it. Also, I think companies are going to really take a good, firm look at their supply chains moving forward, and we might see some changes in that.
All right, so now let's switch to something else. See, I have a different type of a concern. I'm wondering whether or not there will be demand for a Cybertruck. As we know, they're going to be selling a more expensive, $70,000 version, tri-motor version of the truck first. And I'm wondering, even let's say in a couple of years, this economy, this recession will definitely screw with consumer confidence and obviously many other things. We've been through one before. We kind of know what it's going to be like, and it takes a while to get out of that. Mm-hmm. Now with Model Y and Model 3 being produced now, and the Shanghai factory where now that market is also satisfied with that factory, Tesla will be making more cars, obviously, and we don't know if they will be able to sustain the demand. Hopefully they will. But do you think at that point where we're probably still going to be kind of shaky with the consumer confidence, people will be able to afford and get the $70,000 Cybertruck that's all electric? Do you think the demand might be a concern by then?
So, again, I wish I had a crystal ball. Is this going to be a mild recession? Is it going to be a severe recession? Is it going to be a full-on depression, which some economists are predicting? It's hard to tell. I think that everyone's going to get touched by this, Tesla included. Yes, there's going to be less demand over the next couple of years. People have less money. The companies are going to go out of business. People are going to lose wages during this period that they're not going to get back. That's all their disposable income. They're not going to have as much money to buy new toys. They might say, you know what, I'm going to keep my car or my current truck another couple of years. And yeah, I'll get the Cybertruck, but not, now I might have to push it back a few years. That's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen to all the auto manufacturers. They know it. You know, they're 2020 is going to be a brutal year for car sales across the board, and Tesla isn't going to be exempt from that. They're going to feel that too.
I absolutely agree, and there's also usually more renters during the recession, and many other indicators to say that a demand for a luxury, high tech, a high priced car. I don't know if we would call Cybertruck luxury, might be in danger, and Tesla might just voluntarily say, "Hey guys, we got other things to do. We got a Roadster, we got a semi-truck, and a Model Y, and all of that stuff. Like, we're good for now. We'll push it back when we see higher demand for it." Because obviously they don't want to be like dealerships where they have to, have fields and fields worth of, cars,
Sure.
waiting for customers to be sold.
Now, I don't think that'll happen. I do think they're going to move forward and make it, but they can always scale back because it's going to be a big part of their product portfolio, I believe, moving forward. Tesla having a pickup truck or a Cybertruck in your lineup is kind of like it's like an evergreen vehicle. It'll always sell. We love our trucks here, and so I think they'll go forward absolutely with it. They're not going to push it back. They could scale back the amount they sell depending on how bad this recession turns out to be. It's really hard to look forward because none of us have ever lived through anything like this, where the world just stopped for a month or 2 months, or God forbid 3 or 4 months. So it's hard to see, but everything's going to get touched by this. Demand's going to be down. The truck's going to come out a little bit later. There's no way around it.
I totally agree. I hope for the best, of course, and I hope that the demand for Tesla's, always been big, and that can actually kind of overcome what's happening, because we can't have Tesla not out, selling out the cars, right? I don't want to give any opportunity to the naysayers, saying, "Oh, see, Tesla now can't sell all the cars they're making, and they're not even making that much." So I definitely want to root for them to take care of this. But if they have to push this even 6 months worth, I think everybody would understand. And I think you're right. Probably there won't be, the volume of this truck is probably not going to be like Model 3 or Model Y.
Well, we'll see. Trucks are awfully popular. One of the things that I think Tesla and all the electric vehicle makers can do at this point, when we come out of this, we're in a recession, cars aren't selling that well. I think it would be a good idea for the automakers, even Tesla, to really focus on the total cost of operation for the truck. And Tesla can, put out there, they can show own the Cybertruck for 5 years, own a Ford F-150 for 5 years, or a Chevy Silverado, and do the total cost of ownership rather than just the initial cost like they show. 5 years of refueling, 5 years of maintenance compared to the other cars, and they could say, look at how far ahead we'll come. You're going to save $7,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 with this vehicle as compared to another vehicle, or even you might even save money over keeping the vehicle you have now because it costs so much to fuel and maintain. So I think that's one way that Tesla and the other electric car manufacturers can take advantage of, say, a depressed economy, if they can do the value of driving electric, and how, although the initial cost may seem a little high, over the life of the vehicle, it costs much less to own and maintain. So I think that's an angle that might work.
And hopefully the gas prices will go back up there to where it actually does make sense to buy an electric car just to save money on gas. So
even at these low prices, it still makes sense to buy an electric car. Even at $1.75 a gallon, the electric car still comes out ahead in refueling.
Absolutely agree as well. All right. Well, listen, I'm sure we'll continue this conversation into the next few months, and actually weeks, because things are going to change really quickly, and all of this new information will be changing every day, every week. So thanks for joining me, man. I'm glad you're well, and I will see you next week.
Thanks, Alex. You take care, and I hope all your followers take care, stay safe, social distance, do the right thing, and we'll all get through this.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. All right, guys. Well, by the way, don't forget to follow Tom on Twitter That's actually a pretty fun feed if you subscribe to him, Tom Moloughney. That is also in the description of this video, and of course he continues to put out high quality articles on InsideEVs.com. The link to that is also in the description of this video. You can check out his latest and all of his articles there. Definitely strongly recommend. All right, let me know what your opinion about this is. Do you think it's good for Tesla to push this back? Do you think they'll have to? I guess, and Tom's right, we don't have a crystal ball, but we can always guess. Looking forward to that. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.